Welcome to Las Vegas Real Estate Now, where we believe in the 3 E's: educate, empower, and engage. I'm your host, Harvey Blankfeld of the Brown Blankfeld Group, selling homes in Southern Nevada since 1988. To bring you the 3 E's, we not only share our experience and knowledge, but that of our expert contributors. We are very proud to be part of the Real Estate Radio Network. Like them, we are dedicated to delivering timely, balanced truths for market conditions. Please stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Thanks for sticking around, Steve. We also have John Morgan, who's the Vice President and Chief Title Officer with Equity Title of Nevada. We're so glad to have you back to help us shed some light on this recent Nevada Supreme Court decision regarding HOA liens. My interpretation of it is this. What the Nevada Supreme Court said was that when the HOA forecloses on a property, because they filed their papers long before the mortgage was ever established, and it's a super priority lien, that if somebody were to buy that lien, that extinguishes the mortgage. The mortgage goes away.
That is correct, and that's all predicated upon the failure of the bank or the lender who holds the first mortgage to pay the super priority portion of the lien, which is equal to 9 months worth of assessments. So that's really the key in this Supreme Court decision, is because of their failure to pay.
So the way the rules work here in Nevada is that when a home's foreclosed upon and nobody's paying that HOA fee, the HOA has a right to collect up to 9 months, but no more than 9 months in back dues. Tell me about the title perspective. Will you guys insure a sale now?
No, and I'm glad you brought that up. The effect of this Supreme Court decision is not going to have any fundamental change on the underwriting perspective of title in which an HOA lien goes to foreclosure. Those properties are by and large going to continue to be deemed uninsurable. What I've seen play out time after time is a scenario where an HOA lien goes to foreclosure sale, and then after that, the lender will initiate foreclosure proceedings on their deed of trust. And that's where things can get tricky. The purchaser may bid at that loan foreclosure sale and be in for a nasty surprise himself when he finds out that he doesn't have clear title.
Does that mortgage truly get extinguished, or does the previous homeowner have some responsibility still as well?
It's my understanding that the homeowner is going to remain liable for the entire mortgage.
Wow. Here's the takeaway from that segment, just that one little thing. Do not let your HOA foreclose on your home. Don't let this happen. This can be devastating.
Even if someone bought it as a cash transaction, it would still carry forward, I would assume.
They wouldn't be able to close it.
Correct.
You can't do it. Cash, owner will carry whatever. It's written in the
Carries title.
contract that there's title insurance, and guess what? You can't provide title insurance.
What buyer is going to buy a home without having
Without
that title
clear
insurance?
title.
You can't do that.
I bought a house on an HOA foreclosure. I'm going to sell this house for $200,000 to Harvey. John, will you close that transaction?
If that transaction came into our doors, we would make all parties sign appropriate disclaimer to make it clear as to why title insurance is not available.
Yeah, and I'll reiterate that there's not a single loan that we can do without title insurance.
This would only be
So
cash.
it would only be a cash
You guys would say,
scenario.
yeah, we don't want a part
Or
of
an
that.
owner will
Correct.
carry.
Or an owner will carry, yeah, but if there's no lender involved. Now, if you close that deal without title insurance, you're stuck with the problem this person just passed on to you, basically is what they did. And I can't sell that home because now the title's really clouded.
So you really do need to beware.
Let me ask you guys, some of the things that we think are going to happen as a result of this with regard to HOAs and the homeowners is the potential to impound their fees. What do you think? Is that something we're going to see?
We've heard more about impounding HOA fees,
Right.
basically the mortgage company paying your taxes or insurance.
Because a lot of mortgage companies now do insist they impound your taxes and insurance. So now if the HOAs are in the same boat as those guys, the mortgage lenders are going to likely want to impound your HOAs as well.
Correct.
You know, my headlines versus reality. I wanted to talk a little bit about this ruling that came out of the District of Columbia Court of Appeals. It says the court determined that an association's statutory quote-unquote super priority lien for unpaid assessments took priority of position, not just priority of payment. I think that's what the banks assumed, that they would just be responsible for the payment. But they're taking priority of position. They're saying, yes, we're first, you're second, we get the house, you don't. And honestly, the Supreme Court had no choice in this. That's what the law basically says. My biggest concern is where the lenders are going to be right now, Steve. I'm an escrow, and I've got an HOA involved. Are you guys okay? We're moving forward, we're not scared, we're not skittish?
We can go right to the title company, and when the title company says, hey, we're not going to get title insurance, that just backs us. That gives us the protection right there.
That's got to be a little bit of measure of comfort for you guys, I would think. John, is there anything else that you think is important for us to recognize in this?
Really, I'm adopting kind of a wait-and-see approach on this. You've got hundreds of properties, each with their own situation and problems regarding HOA liens.
Shelley, we got to get off this a little bit. Give us some fun facts, will you?
He's so serious. I like to talk about different places to live. And so I wanted to talk about one that I visited, Singapore. Singapore has about 5 million people, and it's only 276 square miles.
Oh my goodness.
It is in the top 10 for cleanliness and one of the safest cities in the world. It is illegal to chew gum, throw papers on the ground, spit, jaywalk.
It sounds like my third grade class. Chewing gum, if you didn't have enough for everybody, you better not be chewing gum.
Okay.
That's for sure. Steve, we were talking about lending earlier, and one of the problems they got in Nevada is that they've got to deal with 50 different sets of rules. And that's part of the challenge, isn't it?
Again, we're going on standard Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac,
Right.
which is a nationwide rules. Some have a little bit different scenarios on some states, but most are fairly common nowadays.
John, do you think that there'll be an impact on their ability to sell just regular conveyances?
But I believe that this ruling will really have the effect of galvanizing the lending community to prevent this scenario from playing out, allowing HOA liens to go to foreclosure.
Houses are falling into disrepair. That's why the HOAs were concerned. They're like, boy, you're hurting our community. We need somebody to jump in and take care of it. Please do it. They had little choice but to foreclose.
If half of your HOA is in foreclosure and you're not getting any money, you cannot take care of that
That's right.
community.
That's right.
We all sometimes disagree with the HOAs, but then again, we like them when they keep our communities up.
That's it. Guys, wonderful discussion. I believe our listeners learned a great deal, and I want to thank you very, very much for being with us today. Thanks for listening to Las Vegas Real Estate Now. Please tune in every week and help us heal the Southern Nevada market one home at a time.